like this and not be disappointed. That's just sun burning that out there. That's actually not the, if I stand in the shade, there you go. So this is it here with like battle damage, and I don't know whether you're going to like it's a bit late if you don't. But there we go, that's that side. It's still drying at the moment, and I might add some more. I want to do a bit more detail in places because the rust does bring out the detail more, so I'm sort of like trying to do some of the bits with that. But I've, you know, you can see I've put the reddy colour in here, and there's a bit under here. I'll put it in thicker in places because I watched a video when they put it on thicker. I've tried not to get any on R2, but you know, he probably will. He's got some overspray on him. It can't be helped. But yeah, that's it. I won't move it. I won't move it just yet. It's still drying. I won't get my fingers in it. But yeah, I hope you like that. It's been a while since I've made a video, and there's been a lot happened. I've got a piece in front of this on the YouTube there, where it's being painted. This is it now, finished being painted, and it's now back in its cradle, its transport cradle. This is how it's going to get shipped down to where the pool table is. It would have been bigger if I'd had more wood, but this is what I had. I've sort of sprayed it with a sort of a silvery colour, and then it's got like a rust. It's like a reddy rust colour on it, which makes the sort of detail stand out quite good. It doesn't look the same on the phone as it does with your eye. There's a couple of places where I've scratched it, getting it in and out of here. I've put like rubber around the edges to try and avoid that, but it still happened. If I go around here, there's a little bit there, look on the edge of the engine cowling, there's a little piece there. This is not going to be looked at with this bright light anyway when it's actually down there on the pool hut. So yeah, there's a little bit of overspray probably on R2, but it looks quite, I think it looks quite good. Dean hasn't seen it in the flesh yet, so I hope he likes it. It's hard luck if you don't. It's done now, isn't it? So he'll have to like it. The rear of it is with the fan. I thought we'd get a better sort of colour on that mesh, but I might give that another blow over as well while I've got the gun out. See, there's a little gap there where it's not quite together. It's not all the screws on in it yet. I do need to put all the screws in it. But what I'll do now, I'll just quickly turn it on. Oh, shot of a banana there. So that's it on now. So it starts up playing a track. These are all go green when it starts up. It will then load its title sequence. So this is kind of like a bit of a thing, a bit of personal stuff there, so I'll come off of that. That's that done. I've mounted this in like black perspex. It's like piano black, it's got a lot of dust on it, it's been stood about. I screwed it on because if I glued the posts on the back and then fitted the display to it, if it fell off, because this is going to be flush mounted in the plasterboard, on the, you know, a hole cut in the plasterboard to mount it flush. Whether he puts post, well no, he won't be put anything over it, and the touchscreen won't work. But what I didn't want was that display falling off inside the plasterboard wall. I was going to have to get the bloody thing out, which might be a nightmare. I'm having to talk over the title tracks here because I set the volume to like 23 on startup, so it makes a bit of a statement when we go in there. I can turn it down in code, it's not an issue. I've also added, I'll tell you what, I'll come back to this when it finishes playing. Oh, there, it has finished playing. Right, so yes, put this in the perspex, that's all done. Might have to put a bezel around it like I said. Well, I said on another video, might have to put a bezel around it to just try and hide the screws and stuff. I've added this speed controller so that the fans, now if you listen, they are not flat out, they're running quite slowly, and this is all done by this speed controller. So the fans are globally turned on by this relay here, just because that's because how it used to work, and I can't think, I just left it like that. And then this speed controller governs the actual speed of the fans, all of them at the same time, because it would just be a mass of cables coming up. I've got enough cables coming up already without adding another 6 to control all the fans in there. What else have I done? As I say,
And the Force is what gives the Jedi
I've added
it's an energy field
this relay here, which turns on the Nextion Display and the Nanos, because when I started the Nextion Display and the Mega up at the same time, the Nextion Display for some reason just would not communicate by serial port with the Mega. I've got no idea why. I tried everything to try and eliminate it, earthing problems, you name it. Nothing would work. The only thing I found was starting this up after the Mega had started. So the only way I could do that was put another relay board in, and then I switch it on afterwards. Which I guess if you're looking at many other machines around, like a car parking machine or something, maybe that software starts, then it turns on the display. I don't know. I don't do this for a living, I've added an SD reader here. Hang on, I'll try and come round to it. So I've got an SD reader there, and all that does is that reads it writes when I play a track, say like from folder 4, track 7, I write it onto that SD card. I also store the current volume setting other than the title sequence, that's coded, but you can adjust the rest of it, you just do it on the display. I also know how many tracks I've totally played, so like here, I'll try and do this. This is not screwed down, so it's all a bit wobbly. Right, so if I go first of all to volume, oh, see it's going to move, look. Right, there's the volume. So if I go down to 10, next time, that's written out to SD card now. So if I took the SD card out and put it in my laptop, it would, if I took that SD card out and put it in my laptop, it would now say 10. When I reboot this, it will load up and it knows it needs to play at volume 10. So if I like that, because nothing more annoying than having to keep turning it up or down all the time, So that's quite good. That's a bit of a step forwards. I've changed that to a flash in time for the cursor, so it's not like a cursor flashing on it, which I quite like. I'll jump down to the MP3 stats. So I've changed that now. I've played one, which is this session, if you like. That's how long before we play another track. I've got 16 folders with 20 tracks in each folder, which gives me a total of 320 tracks I have to randomly pick from. So far since it was born, if you like, this has played 35 tracks. So that's stored on the SD card as well. So that number will roll round after about 32,726. So I don't think that I'm going to live long enough to wear that out, unless we're playing pool a lot. So I think we're safe. And even if it does, it will just roll round and it'll go back to 0. But you could always just pop the SD card out and change it if you wanted to anyway. Obviously you'd have to synchronize that on the card. If you changed one file, you'd need to change the other files, if you see what I mean. As I said, still sticking with this, when I play a track, I store it on the SD card. I then check it, so when it's counting down the time here, so in 26 seconds time, 24 seconds now, it will check the track that it randomly picks out of the 320. It will randomly check, have I played it before? If I have, then I pick another one, and I compare that against the SD card, which if I didn't store it on the SD card, it would be live, so it'd only be this time, when I turn it off, it could play the same track again. So putting it on the SD card, I shouldn't play the same tracks again, because it should always pick another number. So I've set the file sort size and the array size on the Mega to be the same, so that I should, when it gets to the same size, it wipes the file, and it will start all over again, which is quite good, isn't it? See, so some of them, that's just played a track, but it was obviously really quiet, so I need to find out what track that was and maybe edit that track out, because I just was talking, either I talked over it and I didn't hear it, but it wasn't very loud. Some of them are really short, I think maybe too short. Where are we at now? We've done the temps, I can see, I can't remember. So the temps now, the fans now are up to, they're spinning at see it's just dropped from 235 down to 185, and the pitch changed on the fans. So it's because it's dropped to 39. So as the temperature changes, the speed of the fans change as well, to prolong the life of the bearings and also for noise. So again, that's another step forwards. We've done volume, fan temp stat, we've done the mode. We sometimes watch Top Gear or Grand Tour, probably Grand Tour more, but so I can have it in TV mode. So if I put that in TV mode now, so all the lights have gone off except the nose wheel light, and I can't show you this very well, but it's not very bright there now. So if I move this slider, I'm trying to do it so it doesn't move. I need two hands to hold it, and the screen. So if I just get hold of it and drag it along, if I put it right up there somewhere, so 212, it's now much brighter than what it was. Hard to see with the light of the phone. Okay, and if that still isn't enough, because that nose wheel light will go down on the pool table and reflect up, so that should be enough that we're not falling over. Remember, we've had a few beers by now, so we got to be careful in our old age. If that's not enough, I can press, I'll try and do this so you can see it. Oh, if I press Kylo, that has now, bloody thing, that has now, that has now put on one pool light, and it's turned on the fans, if you hear. So if I press it again, you hear a click, you'll hear it, the light go off with a click, and the fan will keep running. So the light's gone off and the fan keeps running. There you go. So again, I can have that on. So that's come on, and that comes on at a default speed until it reads the temperature settings, and then once it's read the temp gate, once it's read all the heat sinks, it knows to spin the thing up. So I turn that off, go back. So if I put it back into pool mode, put it into pool mode, it will revert to playing another track, because it pauses all that as well as the lights when you're in pool mode. We don't want to keep playing noise, do we? We're watching something. The only other thing I can go into in mode, so we've got TV mode, return to playing pool, and diagnostics, and the diagnostics just checks all the sensors. This I2C bus is it needs like pull-up resistors on it, which a lot of the devices have them internal, so you don't actually need to solder in a resistor if you like, but the idea is you pull it up. But if you pull it up too hard, so you give it too much current, then the device that's trying to talk, like the Mega is the master, it cannot pull the line low, and that's how it communicates. So one fault that would lock all this up is having the line pulled so hard high that you can't pull it down, or pulling it down so far that it won't go back up. So a short or a faulty device would cause an issue like that. I think that about covers it, doesn't it? I don't think there's anything I've missed out here. New boards, power supplies are there. Speed controller board we've done. I don't know about tidying these wires up much. They look a mess. They probably are a mess, but at some point we've got to get all this snipped off here, put this all in conduit down to the model, and then get it up to the ceiling. So I don't want to do too much with it until it's down there and it's working after it's been moved, because literally these are really good, these connectors, but they are difficult to undo, and you can't pull the wires because they're just so thin they'll snap. But there we go. Right, so what I'll do, I might add a bit more to this when I've edited it. I might add a bit more to it. I'm probably going to just run through the code. I won't go through it in a way that you can necessarily copy it, because it's a big code, but I will go through it for my own benefit, so I can talk about each block and what it does, so that, you know, when I go back through it in a year's time or something, I don't have to spend hours, you know, trying to suss out what it all did and does. Right, that will be that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.